All right. Hello. Joining me for Teams, which should be about to drop. Presumably you can hear me. Test, test. If you can, someone in chat would be great. I haven't done the live setup for a little while, so I'm hoping that it's all working fine. Get ready for Teams. Sweet. Thoughts on Cripper? I mean, if you started him, so far so good, but not one I'd be trading into currently, especially given that all the popular picks in the midfield were basically fine. I mean, maybe if Oliver or Steele had a down week again, and looked quite bad or got injured, then you could look at it. But I can't imagine trading off Took, McRae, or Neil, for example. Thoughts on Dunkley VC? Yeah, that's who I think I'm going to as well. I think I'm going Dunkley tonight. Oh, teams have dropped. Sweet. Let's have a look. So Lloyd back and Chadwell back. Ooh, McInerney out. That's big. And Sheldrick admitted. I mean, we thought he had shaky job security, so it kind of makes sense. Stevens obviously holds, so that's really good. On the Cat side, so DeConning out, which we expected from the concussion. Evans was the sub, doesn't get another run. Cooper Stevens might be debuting as a sub, which is awful for Supercoach. And then Duncan back, which is as expected. Anything else relevant here? Not really. Okay. Oh, Saligo's been admitted. Wow. And so is Miller. Oh, and Philthorpe. Wow. Those outs for the Crows are pretty wild. And then Pedler and Golan are in, who are both cheap options. And I don't know who Cook is. Who's Cook? 209k mid. This is interesting, these in. So Golan, who was one that we were considering in 3-season, 123k forward. And then Pedler, 123k forward as well. So these have not come at a great time, but it's interesting that they've all been included, and that's unfortunate. If you have Saligo, maybe you can trade him out. I didn't think he was great. Yeah, I guess I was happy with him being dropped. Kruger getting his debut, so that was also one we're looking at. He's going to be playing forward. If you remember, he got concussed and suspended in the same game. 198k defender, which I can't really see coming into play unless something happens to Gibcus Hinge, whoever. But I'm not even sure you'd want to go there. And then Cox out, Wilson out, Bianco out. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any big surprises there. All right. Pranger, Stringer, Durham. Oh, Baldwin omitted. Oh, no. That's bad for me. That's real bad. I thought he had decent job security. I thought they were going to play him with Francis. Oh, I might trade him this week. Don't have to do anything tonight because I guess the only person I'll be looking at is Hayes, and the players I'd be moving around are going to get locked out in this game. And I can see if I loophole Durden score, but we'll get to that in a second. And then Robbo out, which means whoever was their sub, which I think was Sharp, is getting a game this week. Okay, and then, so Stringer, Francis. So I had these two, and then I had Hobbs in for... So I originally had Francis for Langford, Stringer for Martin, and then Hobbs for Ham. And they've gone Ham out, Baldwin out, which I didn't expect, Langford and Nick Martin. Who are they playing as the sub? Probably Ham. Guessing it's Ham. What's interesting is Francis is named at halfback and Ridley's named on the bench. That worries me. What is going on there? So Francis, I think this is just a little bit of gamesmanship with where they announced. Francis trained forward all preseason. That's where I expect him to go. All right, Port. So Sin has been named. Mead's out. Wow, I didn't think Mead was droppable. I thought he was okay. And then Skinner. So, man, we've got all these rookies debuting the wrong week. This is so bad. Boy, it's so bad. All right, we didn't lose McDonald or what? Yeah. Or Ward, but we weren't expecting to lose Ward, surely. And McGuinness actually held his spot for another week too. That's pretty interesting. Day didn't come back, did he? So that's probably why. So this is actually these two, I think. McGuinness and McDonald. One of them could easily be dropped for Day when he's ready. So Skinner named in place of Aaliyah. I think Mead is looking like he's going to get the sub vest, which makes sense. I'm surprised that these two are behind Motlop, if I'm being honest. Wow. So obviously you don't need to act on any of these rookies now, apart from maybe the ones that have been dropped if you want to, but... And then Gold Coast, that must have been their sub. And he'll probably be sub again unless it's Atkins and they give him a week in the twos. Although if it was their sub, it would say meta sub admitted, right? So maybe it wasn't their sub. I don't remember who it was now. Berry in or out? We got to... Oh, Berry's in, right? Yeah, Berry didn't... I mean, it's the type of one that if he's going to be out, you expect it to be a laid out. Probably not named. Is Darcy in? Oh, I'm jumping ahead. All right, I'm going to hold the suspense. And then Rivers in for Salem, which makes a lot of sense. And then Bedford back to sub role. Okay, Bonner, Pollock, Walker. Oh, these are Sunday teams. All right, so we've got the extended benches named as well. Let's have a look here. Jaden Stevenson dropped. That is wild. All right, so these are named in alphabetical order. This looks like CCJ could get dropped. Sorry, not in alphabetical order, in numerical order. So Pollock will be playing. He's on the field, right? Walker is on the field as well. Hayden is not. He says he's probably not playing. And Curtis. Curtis is 117k forward. But also on the extended bench. So who are they playing from this? Probably Powell, Lazaro. I don't know who the other two will be. Don't know North well enough. Maybe someone in chat knows. Sexton was the Sun sub. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, he was good. All right. Witherden back, which was expected. Wait, who's been dropped? Oh, they've got a lot in protocols. This is so hard to say what's going on here. So this looks like it's named in those that'll actually get picked. So Hoff, O'Neill, Foley, and Williams, I think all play. Oh, but like surely Naish can't get dropped. He wasn't bad. This is a little confusing. No, this is number order again. So I would go Naish, Hoff, O'Neill, and Foley, and I don't think Williams or Williams plays. Dixon's named on field again, which makes sense with no Darling. Okay. All right. Bruce is back in. That is huge news, especially for those that took the gamble to put him in. That's wild. And so this, I think this is their bench here that's playing. Bruce, DeBoer, Keefe, and Brander, and then you've got oh wait, no, sure, no, that can't be right because Jesse's gonna play. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's just an emergency. He's not actually gonna play. That's interesting. And Bron was good, and Haynes you'd imagine would play. So it's these three, and then I don't know if it's Brander, Bruce, or Peating. Brander wasn't that bad, right? And then oh, don't tell me Ralph Smith's not getting a game. I thought he was all right from the time he spent on. It looks like it's these four here. So Soldo, Bolton, Arts, and Rioli. And then no debuts. I know that's pretty boring. Darcy is in. They got Mundy and Cox out. Wow. So they've got no Mundy and no Fife. So this is like make or break for Brody, you'd imagine. What are they doing with this bench here? Could we get O'Driscoll's debut? We might. So you'd imagine Chapman, Brody, Ryan all play, and then Henry? But Treaky was good? I'm not sure what's going on here. I think it might be these ones. Where's Meek? He's named on the field, so maybe Treaky's dropped. So it must be Henry, Chapman, Brody, and Ryan. On the Saints, I've got Campbell and Lynott. Campbell is 312k ruck, so not relevant. Nope, must be spelt the other way. And that's not relevant either. Okay. Owens is dropped. Wow, I've got 2 omissions this week. That's rough. Okay. Okay. Have I missed anything else relevant? Darcy won't play. Reckon he's going to be a laid out. Could be. Could be a little bit of smoke and mirrors. They said if he got through training, he'd be all right. Okay. So let's have a look at the old team. So I was originally going to trade out Owens for Martin, but Martin's obviously missing with protocol, so I have to think about that for a couple of weeks. Which makes me want to get Hayes in this week. The only problem with Hayes, it's a little bit risky. Just because we don't know if he's still getting a game when Ryder comes back, but I do kind of want to get a trade done this week just so if Crisp and Ridley have bad games, I can move them on both next week without having to use a boost. In terms of setting the team, we'll loophole. Oh no, we can't do this loophole. I don't think we will here. I can loophole Durden and Rochelle. And Stevens and Ward. Dixon, yeah, Dixon's playing for Kennedy, that's right. Yeah. This is rough. Owens wasn't even an extended, was he? No, it's just like that's double dropped, which is, it's weird that they played him. Honestly, it's weird that they played him. That really hurts. So Owens, Mead, and Martin all dropped is pretty big news. So yeah, Dunkley for me, vice captain, Neil for captain, and then I'm going to need to reverse my trades in here, right? Yeah, reverse this trade. Because I'd originally done Owens. Sorry, I'm like dabbling a little bit of fantasy this year. My team is okay. So I'll play it for a little bit longer. The problem is like, this is just awful. Or really all I need to do is make sure that I've got the E on the right person, I think. So E on Durden, and then depending on how he goes, I'll play Cherry on the field over him. And then, yeah, this is fine. Richards tonight, and if he stinks, I put McCartan on for De Conning. I don't know the VCC option. And then I need to trade Owens for Skinner. And honestly, if I knew how to do that easily, I think I would do it right now. I think it's here. Skinner, defender, thank you. Make trade. Yep. All right, cool. I think that's done. Fantasy, so dirty. All right. Crisp is half back. I hope so. Any chance Nod gets named? Let's go have a look at Freo's list again. So I think it's probably these ones. I don't think it's O'Driscoll. He was an emergency last week, wasn't he? It's just weird though, because who's coming in for Monday? It could be O'Driscoll. I don't remember who their sub was last week. Because their sub didn't get dropped. So maybe it's... Ooh, I don't know. Who is the number one player in fantasy? Oh yeah, the one thing they do have nice, Murky, you're right, is like the fact they've got the pictures. It's like, that's nice. I don't know how to get even back to my team now. It's... Honestly, this is like, it's so... It's just so hard to use this thing. Where do I click to get back to my team? Like you cannot see that on the screen. I think is it match? No, my team. No, not trades and rankings. No. Oh, okay. Give me my team. Here we go. About 3 clicks away. Who is the best Owens replacement? The best Owens replacement was going to be Martin, and with Martin out, I guess it's Hayes. If you don't have Hayes, apart from that, I don't think there was a standout mid. I mean, like Hoff played okay, but he might not get games that much longer. I thought Mead played well and he scored all right. The only other person I can think of if he gets a third game is McGuinness. But for all of these players, I'd be waiting on a week. I wouldn't do any of them now. So let's go mids less than... Oops. Hello, excuse me. Mids less than 200k. Who scored well? I mean, yeah, Naish looks like he might be dropped. So McGuinness, Mead's dropped. Hoff is fine, I think. He's long, but he's going to be okay. Oh, sorry. Kids are saying goodnight. see, mate. Let's see. Off you go back. So yeah, Saligo dropped. Sharp, no good. So like, there's no good replacements in here. If you look at this, right, if you don't have Rochelle, Dacos, Stevens, McDonald, I guess they're it. For Hoff and McGuinness, I would be waiting to see if they play round 3. So Owens is, not good. I guess like the only other option, as I've kind of talked about, is if you have forward or defender DPP, you could look at picking up rookies that you don't have. So for me, it's Hayes and Martin. I would have traded in Martin this week, but kind of doesn't make sense now because I can wait a bit. Maybe I trade in Hayes. I got to think about this, whether I want to take that risk. Ginnivan's playing forward role, which I wouldn't go after. Bedford looks like he was dropped. He was the sub, so it's not promising. And then no one else relevant in there. And then on the defender side, I wouldn't be trading Gibkiss. I wouldn't be trading Joel Smith, even though he's getting another game. So yeah, no one in there either. So yeah, there's no good trades for Owens, honestly, unless you've missed any of the must-have forwards. Same for Saligo, same for Mead. Like, unless you've missed anyone really must-have, I wouldn't be trading any of them. I was just waiting to see next week. McGuinness was good, won't be dropped. I mean, we'll see. There's a few that are on the fringe. I didn't think McDonald was bad enough to get dropped either, but someone's going to go for Day. We'll see what happens. Who to captain this week? So yeah, I mean, for most, actually for all of us, we should have all have multiple donuts. You should have like Martin or Baldwin in the forward line. Yeah, good sleep. You got DeConning as well. You got Owen. So we got multiple loopholes here. Is Martin still a must-have? No, not this week. I would wait. So yeah, I wouldn't move on any of these rookies apart from maybe for Hayes, which I might do. I might do for Hayes. If you don't have Durden is someone that I think you definitely should be grabbing, but you could also wait a week for that if you don't have any other big problems. Yeah, so mine was going to be Dunkley into Neil, vice captain, because I thought DeConning might be the only loophole I have, but Owens is the last game. So what I could do is vice captain Neil and captain Took. I don't think this is terribly bad either, but I might stick with this. Just because I think Bont is going to play forward with that ankle problem, which means Dunkley should go pretty large. He's got a good history against Carlton as well. You've got Walsh just coming back off syndesmosis and Chera out, so maybe the midfield's a little bit weaker than what you'd expect as well. Putting a cheeky loop on Hewitt. Just be careful. The thing I'm worried about with the loop this week down back is Whitfield could be a laid out. So I don't want to use DeCoing. I probably want to use like Owens or Baldwin as my loopholes this week. That's my preferred option. Why Dunkley over McRae? With the vice captaincy, you're looking for upside. I'm looking for upside anyway. Dunkley has gone, I think, like 150s, 160s, 170s against Carlton in the past. So like I'm looking for that like high variance. I either want him to score amazing and it be an obvious take that VC, or I want him to score like poor enough that it's obvious that I should move on and go Neil. Neil's last 3 against Essendon, he's averaged 150. And one of those came last year when he was playing poorly off injuries. So I think he's a really obvious option this year. What do I do if I have no defender or forward cover this week? Oh, you were in a bad spot if that's the case. How could that even happen? I guess if you had Baldwin and Martin and DeConning and no... Yeah, I mean, you like started a loop or something. Yeah, like you just have to, fingers crossed, and hope that nothing bad happens. Or if you are missing a must-have rookie, you trade one in. Dunkley has played Carlton once in the last 3 years and scored a 95. I'm sure I was looking at Emperor's list today and he's like, oh, he had his last 3, but maybe those 2 of those games were more than a couple of years ago. Is it worth going early on Berry for Lipinski for my team? No, I don't think so. Lipinski's got to average 105 to make 150k. And that seems like outrageously large. I know George is super keen on Lipinski, loves him, big believer. And he could be right on that, but one game isn't enough for me to determine that against a relatively weak midfield. St Kilda didn't play great. When was Dunkley's last big score against Carlton? I mean, Let's have a look. All right. 2021, did he play them? Nope. 2020, did he play them? Nope. Wow, it's been a while since he played them. So here we go. 2019, he had a 95 and a 173 and was best on ground. And then 2018, 60? That's no good. There you go. That's his history against them. Doesn't look amazing. Okay. Have a quick look at McRae. He will have played him multiple times last 3 years. So last year he went 106, which isn't great. 2020, bit of a Mickey Mouse year. That's a 138. That's a good score. You'd take that. And then 2019, 150, which is good. And then must have been this one, 97, which isn't good. I mean, so it's not like McRae's history against him is amazing. He's had 2 scores you'd take and 2 that you wouldn't. So yeah, I'm happy to go with Dunkley's upside. But I think McRae is a fine VC. Oh, did I miss a 157 2018? Okay. Kneel into Took, otherwise you're trolling. I don't know. Took's history against Melbourne isn't amazing. I don't think there's anything wrong with Dunkley into Neil. But I think Kneel into Took is good. I think it's really good. Yeah, with Dunkley, missed 157. Yeah, so like this is what I'm saying. Like Dunkley's got the ceiling. Owens and Baldwin out for Durden and Hayes. Feels bad but necessary. All my defended premiers dipped hard, so I'll need to brace for changes next week. Yeah, it's just like I think the one to Durden's pretty no regrets. More likely than not, and probably the same with Hayes. But yeah. Hey GD, when are you going to do a collab with Big J? I mean, Big J all day. He was in the DMs trying to tee something up in the preseason, but yeah, we just couldn't find a time that worked. Unfortunately, when we were going to do it, he had some emergencies, and then when he was free up again, I kind of had a busy schedule in the lead up to the opening of the year. JD, my bench players are Wilmot, SDK, Ward, McDonald, Hoff, Dixon, Baldwin, and Martin. Oh, is this a follow-up to another question up here? As to like why you have no cover. Oh, did Wilmot not get named? That was obviously a big one that people were taking a risk on. Ah. And I haven't changed it, and he's not even in the emergencies. That is crazy. Wow, that's unlucky, dude. Yeah, Hoff, Dixon, Baldwin, and Martin. Yeah, I think, Jono, all you could do in your situation is get Hayes in maybe for Baldwin, and then you've got Dixon and Hayes you can swap around with, but it's up to you if it's worth doing that this week. Grundy again, and you could always wait a little bit to do that into the round. Grundy against Adelaide midfield. I mean, Grundy could go big. I don't know what his history is like. Rob's not a shocking ruck by any means, and I think, I don't rate Collingwood that highly. But there's a chance that I don't mind Grundy as an option. I think that's a very good if you don't have some of these others. So many rooks dropped. Yeah, this is actual carnage. Actual carnage. No Saligo, no Owens. Just no Baldwin. Wow. Picked Baldwin for job security too. That worked out really good. Cripps into Neil. That is risky. I would not be doing Cripps against the Dogs midfield. They took 8 of the 11 scores over 100 last week. So you're going to have to believe that Carlton are going to smash them. I think if you think Cripps is going to score big. Took here to 142 in his last 2 games against the D's. Those are good scores. Yeah, I mean, V, Neil into C, Took, I could see myself doing. Definitely could see myself doing that. Am I going to? No. Can I use a DeConning for Loophole or Martin? It's probably better to use Martin just because I think there's a risk that Whitfield or someone's laid out. Gawn to Wits, Owens to Rao. I wouldn't be making those trades this week. You picked Gawn to be a keeper all year, so I would be hanging on to that. But if you don't have Rao, you would need to find a way to get him. I just don't know if that's the best way to do it. I'd probably wait a week to see how Rao goes, and if you've got any other underperforming or injured primos, you can swap him too. What's to go with Dusty? I mean, I don't think he's going to be a good option this year. He was on my do not starts all year, so he got lucky to score his 108, but I don't think he's going to keep that up. And Carlton's usually his best game for the first 10 weeks. Who's the better VC option tonight out of Dunkley and McRae? I have Dunkley over McRae, but I think McRae's a good option as well. Owens, but Hayes. Owens out, Hayes in, move Rochelle to mid bench for Ward. Yeah, if I was like, you could do that. I was going to do that with Dixon this week, but like, yeah, that's not going to happen this week. Oh, I could still do it with Hayes. Like, it's one of those things where if Durden scores really well tonight, like say Durden goes 100, right? I probably would look at moving Owens on to get Rochelle into the mids, especially if Stevens didn't score well tomorrow. I'd be waiting for those two things though before I move stuff around. Ridley on bench concerned. I don't know what they're doing with the team sheets there. That's a weird one. I have Martin, Durden, and Hayes in my forward line. Thoughts on emergency picking Durden with Martin on field and Luke Only score if Durden pops off tonight. Otherwise, I can sub Hayes on off tonight. Yep, Hayden, that's perfect. That's what I'd be doing too if I had Hayes. Can I use De Koning and Martin for loophole for Dunkley? Yes, you can. You get to see Dunkley score tonight, and then you can pick one of them as a loophole. Ridley to Hewitt and Ward up to Lipinski. I don't think Lipinski's that much of a must-have, and I'd be waiting a week with Ridley before trading him on. If Ridley's bad, though, I think Hewitt's a good option. I mean, I don't know. There's no reason to do that trade this week. You get to see Hewitt tonight against the Dogs midfield, which I don't think he's going to score particularly well against. You'll get to see Ridley, see if he bounces back and what the game plan looks like when Essendon's a bit more competitive. And I mean, Lipinski should dominate the Crows midfield if he's fair dinkum. So, yeah, I would wait a week on all that. It's not fantasy. We can wait to the next week. All right, Skinner or Pedlar? Skinner. He should have job security with Alir out. What trades are you making? Probably none. If I do make a trade, it'll be Hayes for Owens or Baldwin. If Durden goes for another 70 or 80, should I go for it or go for Hayes? I mean, I'd bank a 70 or 80. It's unrealistic to expect those out of rookies. I know we just had like 3 go over 100 last week, but there's such an abnormality that I wouldn't be backing on that going again. Is it worth me using a trade to get Rochelle on field stuck in mid-bench at the moment? I wouldn't use a trade just to get him on field. I'd only use a trade if it's going to make you 150k or enough points. But yeah, like just getting him on for potentially 20-point upside this week is not worthwhile. Why the C on Neil rather than Took? Neil's gone 150 each time, the last 3 times he's played the Bombers, basically. Maybe there's 140 and the rest to 150s. Like, he's got a massive average against them. And if you watch last week's game, I'm not too bullish on the Dons. Don't have D7 or D8 playing. That's rough. That's part of why we advocated for no loopholes this year, just because rookies were so poor. Worth trading Wilmot to Skinner. I wouldn't do it this week. I'd wait to see Skinner for 2 weeks before you decide if you're going to do that. Baldwin going to be a dead rookie. He unfortunately might be. I thought he did enough to hold his spot last week, but bringing in Francis over him is quite worrying. It looks like he's going to be a dead rookie, to be honest. Wait and see what happens this week, but yeah, that's really unfortunate. Thoughts on Darcy being named? Looks like the look of English. I mean, I think he's named in the side, so he should be playing. They could be laid out, given what happened last week. Went Ridley to Hall and Berry to Rao. Thoughts? I mean, those trades look good on paper, but I just wouldn't be doing it this week. It's very aggressive and quite risky. Do you know when the emergency get listed on the AFL site? Brody is listed as an emergency, so wondering if I should... Oh, is he? I think he is, but like he's 100% going to play. I'd be so surprised if he didn't play because he wasn't bad last week. He got a lot of contested ball, and they've got no Fife and no Mundy. Trade Sean Darcy for Wits. Oh wait, I mean Darcy's playing this week. I wouldn't be trading him. JD, I already have Hayes. My team name is DRSC. Oh yeah, okay. All right. This is your. Yes, Giselle. What is it? Go ask mummy for water, sweetheart. All right. So this is your team here. Like. Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing you can really do unless you can get Durden in for Baldwin, which you can wait a week on. Like, there's not really much you've got there. Like, you're in a tough spot because you started Wilmot. And this is just really unlucky that both of these were out in the same week. Will they use Hewitt to tag McRae? No, I don't think they're going to use Hewitt to tag. And even if they did, McRae wouldn't be the target, I don't think. If anything, if they do something like put Libba back in there, they've showed that to work. Or like, I would rather tag Dunkley over McRae anyway. I'd be very surprised if they tag McRae. I think he'll go head-to-head with Walsh. What are your thoughts on Berry? I mean, he scored 70.5, which is good, and then he scored -3.5, which is bad. I think he can score well against Essendon. I wouldn't be moving him on this week. If he's a laid out, so be it. But I think he's got enough scoring potential to make money for the price that we paid for him. I think people are freaking out on him, like, unnecessarily. If I have spare cash, do I go Berry to Rao now? No, I'd still wait a week. Should I wait a week on Hayes? Yes, probably, depending your situation. Just because with Hayes, like, you have Ryder potentially coming back, depending on how he goes in the VFL. I still think he's going to get games throughout the year because Ryder's going to need to be managed. But there's a real chance he gets dropped around 3. I think it's small, but there's a chance that he does. Rochelle must trade if you don't. Trade in if you don't have. Like, wait and see what happens this week. I don't think the first game score rolls out really quickly. So if he backs us up with a 30, then I don't think so. But if you have him, he's good. Would you jump off Whitfield now and bring in Hewitt? No. What's your plans with Owens? We'll wait and see. There's no one obvious to bring in for him. So I'd wait till next week to fix that up. Rowell or Cripps? Rowell. Who places higher? Carl Tank or Bummers? Probably Carlton. Went Ridley to Hall and Berry to Rowell. Wait, did I already go through that one? I might have. I'm like getting behind. McInerney to Hewitt. I think that's fine. Thoughts on Sin? I think he'll be good, but let's wait and see if he gets to his 3rd game. Baldwin to Hayes. I think he can, yes. If Dusty misses, why is Dusty going to miss? I saw someone mention this today. I was at work. Why are there rumors that he's going to miss? What's going on here? Rich, Chris, Ridley, and Whitfield, my backline. Fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. Hold fire this week where you can, yeah. Thoughts on kids drinking cola? No way. Not good for the kids. Who to field, McCartan or Hinge? McCartan. I mean, like, these are tough to decide, so I usually just back in whoever's scored more on the average. So it'd be McCartan for me. If Henny goes big again this week, is he a must-have? Who would you trade him to? Like, I don't have a problem where premiums are really underperforming that much, or a structure that allows me to get him in. So it's hard for me to say he's a must-have, but he's going to be great value at his price, which we already knew he was going to be. Ridley and Berry to Sicily and Rao. Wouldn't do that this week. Would you suggest any changes? Oh, not sure I'm going to be able to get that to come up. No players found. Saligo for Hayes this week. I have decent rookies. Only DeConning and Martin not playing. You can, but if it doesn't look like you're going to need to do trades next week, I think you can hold fire on that. I would only be trading in Hayes this week if you think you're going to need 2 more trades next week. Hayes round 1 performances guarantee him at least 3 more games, no matter the form. I don't know about that. You can have a bad enough game week too that you get dropped. Would you trade Crispy for Brayshaw via DPP? Nope. I wouldn't be trading any premiums this week. Owens to Hoff. Nope. I think there's a chance Hoff gets dropped in the next couple of weeks. I wouldn't be doing that either. If I trade, I'd definitely wait for next week if you're thinking about doing that type of trade. If I trade McInerney to Hewitt or Blakey as a correction, would they need to be keepers? I would go to Hewitt, and yes, I think same with McInerney, you were picking him basically as a keeper or making you close to 150k. Will Geelong win the flag? I don't know. No idea. I don't think so. Thoughts on Alex Davies? Davies didn't score that well for 200k from memory. What was it? A 90? Oh, that's actually really good for his price. But he kicked a goal in a Gold Coast win. I don't know about that. He's still playing more of a small forward role. I think he only got about 10% of CBA, so I don't think his role is good enough for 200k. Oh, he's gone on leave for mental health break. Dusty, wow. Oh, wow, that's sad. I hope he's all right. I mean, if that's the case, I'd be probably trading him if he's going to be out this week. He was in the lineup, wasn't he? Yeah, he is. Okay, we'll just wait and see. I mean, if he's going to be an out, then I would be trading him. I guess the difficult thing is if he's traded, like if he's a late out, then no one from these teams you can really go to. And really, you'd want to be putting him to like Heaney, English, or even DeGoey. Yeah, I don't know about. I haven't read the news, so I'm not sure. Not sure about that. Cherry or Brody? I think Cherry's going to be better. Dota or League? Heroes in New Earth. Owens out cogs to mid, so I don't have to field Ward and one of the forward rookies I missed in. Yep, you can do that if you don't. If you I wouldn't do it if you don't have to, but if you think you're gonna need 2 trades next week, then yeah, it's fine to do that this week. What is worth no row? Okay, I think that's a troll comment. Will Brody's on extended bench? Do you reckon trade to Cherry if he doesn't get selected? So if he doesn't get selected, which we will find out before tomorrow's night's game, then yes, I would definitely go him to Cherry. Should I quickly swap Hayes onto the field and have Cherry as my ruck emergency? Yeah, you can make that decision tomorrow, right? That's no, I wouldn't do that because then who are you going to loophole them with? That doesn't make any sense, I don't think. Thoughts on Fort at R3 scored a 98. How many goals did Fort kick? Like that, I'm playing full forward. What's his price? 3079. No, there's no way he's good value at that price. I don't think. I can't imagine that's a good pick. Thanks, Jono. Baldwin and Hoff to Martin and Durden. I wouldn't do that this week. You can make those corrections next week. No worry, Lance. I think only one I need is Martin next week. Or Martin, you wait 2 weeks on because he's not playing this week. So you've actually got 2 weeks to wait on Martin, which is why I'm not trading him in this week. Luke Ryan is listed in emergencies. Do I bring in Hewitt? I think yeah, that's a really hard one. No, I think Ryan's getting named. I don't think he's getting dropped. I'd be very surprised if Ryan is dropped. Very surprised. I just think this is a pretty deep bench that they're going to play here. Can't wait an extra week on, and yeah, can wait an extra week. Yeah, that's right. Matthew 32, all that's cap. Trade Brody this week, only if he doesn't get named. Any recommendations are, I'll have a look at teams in a second, but for most of them, the advice is don't trade. Bring in Braden Pruce R3. We get to see 2 weeks of scores. I saw your team and picked Crisp from your recommendation. Why did you pick him forward? George, you're a troll, mate. That was off your recommendation, mate. I was anti-Crisp all preseason. You know it. If Hewitt goes big again and Crisp and Rids get 90 to 100, would it be worth trading? 90 to 100 isn't terrible. Just depends on the eye test and how they look. Field, Dill Stevens or Ward, Stevens for me. But you can, if you've got Owens, you can loophole them together, which is pretty nice. Crisp is named at halfback. Hold on for dear life. Yes. Going to be looping Machida Owens with Stevens Ward. Yes, I think that's spot on, Anthony. I have Rochelle, Durden, Cherry, and McGovern in my forward line. Which 2 should I field and which 2 should I bench? That's a pretty good forward line and bench. So I would be fielding Cherry and McGovern still, I think, and benching Rochelle. I guess McGovern against Dogs is a little bit scary. But with a small forward, you just don't know if you're going to get a 120 or a 30, and that's what I'd be worried about with Rochelle. Thoughts on Mitch Duncan? I don't think he's going to be a good pick this year. He's too old, too injury prone. Bear up to Lipinski and Owens up to Durden. Rochelle into the midfield. I wouldn't be doing those trades this week. It doesn't make sense to me to trade that aggressively. But that's like a fantasy move. It's not really a super coach move. Hayes to field over McGov, Brody, or Cherry. I wouldn't field him over any of the three listed. I'd start your mid prices. Thanks, Richard. Would you recommend trading Ridley down to Sicily and Berry up to Rao based on performances? Like, yeah, so next week, if they perform exactly the same as this week, you could do those trades. I wouldn't do any of those trades this week. Thoughts McGovern, his role looked really good. He got more kickouts than I thought he was going to get. I think he's going to be a really good mid price for us as long as his body's fine. Good evening, Raz. CRISPR Hall. If I could pick one without it costing me a trade, I'd take Hall right now for sure. Even with the injury risk, he's going to outscore him by so much. It's insane. I really stuffed up by not moving over to that last minute. I think the Darcy out spooked me enough. I have O'Driscoll and SDK. Should I trade one to Skinner? Nope. Wait 2 weeks on Skinner. See how he goes. He might get injured, might get dropped. I have McInerney, Crisp, and Ridley. Do I have to trade one? I mean, McInerney, it depends on how bad that injury is. It's just a week, right? The knee. I don't know what they've said about it. So realistically, if you've got good bench cover, you could hold. Otherwise, to Hewitt seems smart for him. Owens to Martin because I'm... Oh my God, chat's too fast. I'm probably going to find 20k to get round next week from Berry, maybe. I don't think Berry's a trade. I mean, I guess it's really tough because Rao's looking like a must-have. I'd just be surprised if like trading Berry's the only way to get there. But yeah, like if you really need the cash from Owens to Martin, I think Martin is going to get games when he comes back. You just don't need to do it now. Hey Jetty, don't have Rochelle nor Rao. Need 2 trades for Rao. Is it worth trading out Owens? I think it is worth trading out Owens if there's someone obvious to go to. I don't think he's getting games anytime soon. What do I do about these emergencies of Brody and Chapman? Nothing. I think they both play. I mean, Chapman had the game-saving play for them last week. And I think they're going to need to get games into him. And Brody, I can't see getting dropped with no Fife and no Mundy. I'd be really surprised if they were outs. If I win the car, it's yours. 80% of my team is based on your advice. Thanks, Jackson. Nice name, by the way. Hi, I can trade Yuland to any defender in the 4 to 450k range, thinking of CJ or Sicily or Hewitt. I think Hewitt has the best possibility of being a keeper if you intend on doing a trade in that range. Now, otherwise, Houston, is that the other one you can look at who had a big game? But I mean, he's up and down now. He might be a little bit too expensive for you. Where do I find CBAs and kick-ins? Is there a good website for it? Yeah, so it's this one, DFS Australia. / AFL kick-ins. If you join the Discord, we've got a resources section which has some of this stuff. But yeah, you can see like data here on kick-ins, and like this has got play-ons, and then up here as well, it's got CBAs. So you can look at, yeah, basically this data here. I put Hayes at F8 because both my board bench wasn't playing, and I bought in Dixon. Thoughts? Yep, that seems fine. I have McInerney. Do I get Young? How do I downgrade for Sin? I wouldn't get Young or Howe. I'd get Hewitt, and if you can't get any of those, I'd just hold on to him and play your rookie cover. Is it okay to go Crisp to Sicily and Berry to Rao? No, it's not. Wait a week. What are your current feelings on Dawson after what we saw in the second half? I'm very hopeful on Dawson Confell. You know me, big Dawson believer. 70 whatever point it was second half. We're expecting big things. Hey DR, thanks for dropping by and saying hi, mate. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, good to hear from you. Hold Saligo. I don't think, unless there's someone obvious for you to trade him to, like you miss someone obvious. Otherwise, like, just there's no good rookies at the moment. So yeah, I think you can hold. We named it halfback, thank God. Saw on Discord he was limping. Yeah. There's been a lot of talk. A few people have picked up on Twitter, on Discord. I think DRSC mentioned it as well. So yeah, like I'd just be careful with what you do with your bench cover this week in case he's laid out. Thoughts on Newcomb? Had a really good game, but he didn't actually play enough mid-time from what I remember. Let's have a look at the Hawks. His CBAs were... You gonna update, please? It's funny, website's not working. Oh, don't tell me showing it here is like overloaded it. Oh dear. I think Newcomb only had about 20-30% CBAs, which means it's like his score variant should be quite high, but we'll wait and see another week. What do I do with Taron Thomas? Like, wait a week, but I think he's probably going to be a trade. Didn't get enough mid-time, but you'd expect a good score against West Coast this week at least and give you a good chance to reassess. Is Josh Sin or Skinner making their debut this week? Both are. Clicky tactiles. Yeah, sorry. It's not the best for streaming, I must admit. I've had this gaming keyboard for ages. Crisp Sard. No, don't trade Crisp this week. Are you happy having Wits over Gone? Nope. No. I would much rather have Gone, which is why people suggesting trading Gone, I think is crazy to me. You might lose a little value, but I'm so worried that Wits has some type of injury and it's just going to end up being really bad for me. Do you think Mid will play? No, he got dropped. He's not playing. It's as simple as that. I mean, he might get sub duties. That's possible, but that's pretty scary. Sard or Sicily? If I had to pick one, it'd be Sicily. Chapman or Hinge on field? Probably still go Chapman. That's a pretty good matchup this week, and just put the E on Hinge. But if you've got SDK, you should be able to loop them. Sard, Houston or Sicily? Yeah, probably Sicily just over Houston if I had to pick right now, but I wouldn't be trading into those this week. What should I be doing with Crisp? Save the trade or go to short haul Dawson? Save this week, reassess next week after we see him play again. Will Brody hold for now unless he gets dropped? Cherry is a good option. Or Rochelle if you missed him. Christopher Hall, not this week. Wait. Trade Owens to McDonald. If you don't have too many concerns, you can wait till next week to do that because McDonald may get dropped next week. I traded Gone out this week. It's an aggressive move. It is very aggressive. But yeah, okay. Good luck. Good luck. I hope it works out for you. I only have 5 defenders. What to do? You're going to need a trade for someone playing. I guess Skinner or Sin. Skinner's probably got better job security. Sin's got high scoring potential. Sicily or Short. Seems like Hawks backward. Yeah, they're going to get games into him. He had over 50% CBAs in round 1, so they're obviously giving him some opportunity. He should bounce back with scores. C and VC choice and your pick. I mean, Dunkley into Neil into Took. These both seem good. McRae into Neil or Took, all fine. Oh, how much longer do I... I should have asked consensus with the group whether I should be changing this to Neil. But how long we got? 10 minutes. Hold on. Let's see what Discord says. So we're doing Dunkley into Neil or Neil into Took. Let's see what they say. Do you reckon Steele might be a good C choice? Not after last week. It's hard to back him. They could get done by Freo. Giath or Sicily. Is Hewitt's tagging days done? I think so. I don't think tagging is pretty... I think it's ancient history. Nothing that they've done in the preseason suggests Hewitt's going to be tagging. I think he might be more of a defensive-minded mid, but I don't think he's going to be doing hard tags based on what we've seen and heard. It's possible, though, because it is in his repertoire. In most mad that they gave us Sheldrick and debut in round 1. Coach comes out, said he thought he was good, and drops him. It's pretty unfair on old Sheldrick. They said in the preseason he was going to play small forward this year if he was going to get games at senior level before, I think, transitioning to mid later on. So I don't think he was ever going to be a great pick just because of scoring in that role anyway. Trade Mead or hold it out and see next week. I think you can wait on Mead. There's a chance he gets named to sub, someone gets injured, and then he gets a game anyway and then has some type of security. Do you think Hoff gets named? We had a quick look at the bench. I think it looked like it was likely that he gets named. Hoff, O'Neill, Foley, and then maybe it's Bailey J, but I think it's Naish. I haven't looked at the full composition of the side, who the ins and outs are. I mean, unless Hoff's getting dropped for Witherden and he's sub, I don't know. I think it's probably unlikely. Mead might be a late in for Dersma. Wait, how was Dersma named? Didn't his shoulder get crushed? His AC? What? I didn't even realize he's still on the side. And what now? I can't see Port on the list. Am I going blind? There they are. Oh, he's really not admitted. That's so weird. Or maybe he might be a late in for him. Going to English done. More personal regret than anything. Well, good luck. I hope it works out for you. I mean, English being number one ruck presents some pretty good value this year. Hofter Skinner wouldn't do it this week. Owen's replacement, whichever good rookie you've missed, but I wouldn't be forcing it to like Hoff or someone like that. That looks pretty fringe anyway. What should I do with Brody because he's not playing? It looks like he's playing. I can't see him getting dropped with the teams that are named. If he is getting dropped, then you're probably trading to Cherry next week. You'll find out before the Friday night game, though. You'll find out before tomorrow night's game, and then you can make a decision. So I wouldn't panic about it now. Neil McRae is captain. McRae definitely shouldn't be captain. You should be McRae should be your vice captain at most, and then you, if that doesn't work out, you can go Neil. Thoughts on VC Hewitt? No, I wouldn't go VC Hewitt. Dogs eat up points. Eat up points. All right, where? Let's see. Dunks into Neil. Macca into Took. I've got McRae into Neil. Not even considering McRae. Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm about to grab Wits for Gone. I wouldn't do that, man. I wouldn't do that. I know you need to get Neil, but it's just so many trades to try and fix that mistake. I'd wait and see if you've got underperforming Primo and side swap them to Neil, then, you know, ensure that it's gone this week. Best defender under 500k, giving McInerney the boot. It'd be Hewitt for me. I think it's the only one that makes sense under 500k. Yep. Doherty or Ridley? Ridley still. Is Hoff playing this week? I think so. He might get dropped looking at the bench, but I think he's playing. Who will score better out of Skinner and Sin? Sin, I think, has higher scoring potential. Is Luke Ryan named on a bench a worry? I guess it's a small worry, but I can't imagine him being dropped. It'd be a pretty bold statement for him to get dropped in a win, even though it was a close one to a poor team. I don't think it was that bad. You think Naish will play over Hoff? I think it makes sense. Naish was pretty good, I thought. Chapman emergency, damn. I don't think Chapman gets dropped. He was last week's hero, but for him to get dropped would be astonishing. Who's playing? Because I don't think it's Hamling or Walker. I don't think Tracy or Trakey or however you pronounce his name, the big kahuna is what I prefer to call him. He's been dropped for Darcy because Meek's been retained. So you've got Henry, Chapman, Brody, Ryan, and O'Driscoll as your 5. And I think Chapman, Brody, and Ryan will play, and then it's one of Henry or O'Driscoll. I'd be really surprised if Chapman, Brody, or Ryan were dropped. Really surprised, based on the extended bench. Ryan, Darcy, Brody should play. Exactly, Murky. Yeah, and you're a Freo man as well, right? You should know. I remember one time I had Brockman captain thinking he wasn't playing, so everyone checked to see if your loophole was playing. Yeah, that's a good call. Cause, would Owens to Martin be okay? Gives me a bit more money for correctionals next week. I think Martin's probably safe enough that it'd be fine, but yeah, I wouldn't do it if you don't have to. Owens to McDonald, waste of a trade. I think it's a waste this week. I'd wait to make sure McDonald makes it to round 3. There's a chance he does get dropped next week, especially if it's a poor game. Ryan on the bench as a precautionary measure as his housemates with Brennan Cox. Oh, and Cox is out for health and safety protocols. Ooh, I didn't know that. Good shout. Yeah, Stevenson dropped as surprising, especially after he got pegged with a shoe last week. Should I drop Luke Ryan? I mean, if I wouldn't be dropping people because they're missing due to COVID. It's going to happen all year. You're not going to be trading those people all year. I'd just be trying to cover with your bench. McRae or Dunkley as loophole. I've got Dunkley. Henry will play. He was very good. Yeah, I thought he was good, Sammy. So yeah, I like the bench. My predicted bench is Henry, Chapman, Brody, Ryan, and then probably O'Driscoll is the sub, which is unfortunate. Maybe he won't be. Maybe someone else. Because like debuting on a sub kind of sucks. Hopefully they don't do it to him. Tom Green's so tempting. He is. I mean, if I had to pick now between Green and Cripps, that'd be tough. And the Eagles just got slapped with health and safety protocols. Yeah, I mean that's they were making fun of them not taking taking it seriously, and 5 out. Wow. Well, Winder was their sub last week, wasn't he? Is that right? He didn't get a game. All right. Well, we are 3 minutes out from the game. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to try and do another one of these before next week because it's going to be the more important week for trades, but just good to say hi to everyone. Yeah, good luck tonight. Make sure that you've got your emergency set Durden, E for this game. You're going to be able to loophole with Baldwin or Martin. Or I guess you could do it with McGovern if you're in a much better situation than I am. Your VC, I think Dunkley or McRae are both great options. Otherwise, if you've got Owens, you could do Neil into Took. But yeah, good luck, everyone. Don't overreact too much to week one, and we'll reassess with next week. Peace.